I have quite a lot of really cool items in my collection. You can sort of see it behind me and also the helmet right here. I have this amazing 111th Field Artillery 29th Infantry Division grouping from World War I. I've got this really cool set of aviation gear from the Cold War, Soviet gear. Really cool stuff. I've got a set of body armor that is really a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and I have a World War I French flare gun that was used by the United States Marine Corps. And sure, this has just some really solid history to it, and is the division that I focus a lot of my collection on. That is just, it looks really cool, and it has, some level of sentimentality to me. One of the first things I really put a lot of energy to with my connection. The body armor, like I said, once in a lifetime find, and has some fascinating history to it. And the flare gun, you're really never gonna see that history with anything else. It's pretty dang unique. But what I have in this box, and what the focus of today's video is a lot more important, because it's not just rich in history on a broad sense, it's rich in very personal history to me, and that personal connection is really important with collecting, at least it is to me. Anyways, I'm Luna, this is Lunatic History, and today I have finally gotten the Model 8 experimental helmet.
Let bury the hatchet, let bury the hatchet, let bury the hatchet in the Kaiser's head. We'll crown him on the noodle, make him whistle Yankee Doodle, shouting the battle cry of Wilson.
Now, I'm itching to open this thing up just as much as I'm sure y'all are itching to see it. But before I do that, I do need to stress the importance of this item to me, and stress the long journey I went on with this. So, ages ago, I was looking for a nice transitional Stahlhelm, I believe I was looking for. It's been so long, 352 days to be precise, that I have kind of lost track of everything, track of what was going on back then. But I believe I was looking for a transitional helmet, and someone had told me about the online store Summer Vacation Militaria. And so I hopped on there and looked at their stuff, and I saw a Model 8, this Model 8 to be precise. Now I'm not sure if I show up on camera. I saw that, and I was like, oh, that would be pretty cool. I'd like to have one of those in the collection. And so I made a silly little gif about it, and then was like, hey, I should keep doing this, and made a lot more memes. So I will quickly let future Luna, the Luna prior to editing Luna, add in a few, well, I guess it is partially editing Luna as well, but anyways, I'll let future Luna add in a few of the most important memes for this journey, some of my personal favorites. When someone asks me who made the Model 8 helmet, Ford! Yahoo! Give me Ford Model 8.
This right here is my favorite thing ever. In the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
The world is a cruel and unjust place. There is no harmony in the universe. The only constant is suffering. OMG, Ford Model 8!
And I have a shotgun. Let me prove it.
Yeah, I like them. F, Ford, E, 8, M, Model, M, mannequins. Hello, Bashford Dean, inventor of the Model 8 experimental helmet. Hello, Miku Kabato, guitarist and backing vocalist for Bandmaid. Did you get it? Yes. What did it cost? $4K plus shipping. Me thinking I'm finally free from making Ford Model 8 memes. The meme's gotta keep going until it's on your hands! There is no meme. It has arrived. Yeah, I'm not a voice actor. Hopefully the full video of all the memes will be better, but yeah, y'all got to witness whatever that was. now that you've had, hopefully, a good little laugh, a good little chuckle, I will say I do plan on making a video compiling every single meme I made. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it will happen sometime soon, so be on the lookout for that if you just want to have a bit more fun and sort of relive the whole experience, especially if y'all are from one of the communities that did not get to see every single meme, sadly. But anyways, now you've got some level of the journey I took with the memes, some level of understanding, I should say. I do need to talk about the journey of getting this specifically as well. So, the Summer Vacation Military was obviously the first one I saw, but I saw it after it had sold, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, and like I said, so I thought it was pretty cool, and kept an eye out, and then a bunch of folks started tagging me on Instagram and everything, because International Military Antiques had gotten one listed on their site. It was a bit pricier than I really wanted to go for with one, but it was solid condition. I was like, I'll save up for this thing. And it sold. Then, a little while later, one appears as an auction and I miss out on it. And then one appears as an auction on Goodwill.com, and that's a really important one. It will shop Goodwill.com. That's, like I said, that is a really important one to this whole story. And I bid on it, and I get outbid, and it sells for $9,001. And just let me say, the bid I put on that thing was honestly higher than it deserved, especially as it was not really good condition. It was missing a liner and had just a bunch of foam shoved in there and everything. It was not great. And $9,001, that's not just overpriced for that, that's overpriced for any Model 8. And $9,001, you know, that's an automatic bid, so their actual top bid was higher than that. So, that was insane. Hey gamers, okay, I should not say that in these videos. Editing Luna here, I just real quick want to say that there are two just weird sort of cursed Model 8s I should mention real quick that I forgot to bring up. There's this one that's missing a visor that's just horrible, kind of cool but horrible. And there is this one that appeared on the A-Team. Also, I just remembered another one. There's this painted Model 8 in some museum. Cursed, but I love it. And then there's one listing that I almost got. Or, no, I did not almost get it. It's way too expensive. But I saw it and was saving up for it, listed on Regimentals. Forgot to mention all that stuff. So I just wanted to interject real quick and put that into the video. Anyways, back to the normal Model 8 shenanigans. And then there were two Model 8s that showed up basically at the same time. There's one pretty rough condition, but a solid price on Bio, which is basically, from my understanding, the eBay for pawn shops or something. And there was a pretty much mint condition one on an auction house, on Live Auctioneers. I can't remember who specifically was selling it. But I thought about going for the buy now one, but on this one, pretty rough condition. A lot of the paint is missing on it. It's got a couple dents and everything. This one, this one that the auction house is selling, it's pricier, but it's a lot nicer. So I decided to give it a shot. As I'm waiting on the auction to end, as I'm waiting to put in my bid on it, the other one sells, so I can't get that. And then I noticed this one has a 28% buyer's premium. So, yeah, I'm not going for that. Already, with just the first bid they have, that's more than I can spend on this. So I'm not going for that, so I miss out on that. And then the Goodwill Model 8 returns. And sells for $7,000 something or other. And then it returns again. And sells for a bit less than that. And at the time of filming this, it has returned a fourth time. And actually, it might have just returned 3 times. Or been there 3 times. I don't know. There's been so much going on with this. But it returned again and sold for $2,000. And honestly, I'm pretty sure it's going to return again. I don't know what's going on there, but it kind of scares me. But finally, there is a Facebook group for buying and trading and selling militaria that my mom is a part of for me, as I do not have a Facebook account and do not plan on getting a Facebook account, where a Model 8 appeared, and this thing, let me tell you, it was pretty much mint condition, one of the best ones I've ever seen, and we were lucky enough to get it after however many days. I honestly cannot remember, 340 something I want to say. There's a big number on screen, y'all can see what it is. I should have written it down, but I don't know, I'm improvising this video. But I finally got it, and it has finally arrived. Day 351 of making the memes. It arrived in town at the post office. Day 352 of this journey. It got picked up and is now here in my possession. So, let us finally open this thing up. I am itching to see what this thing is like in person, and oh, I am looking forward to this. I'm sure y'all can tell. But as I'm opening this up, I should say I'm not going to go too in-depth on the history of this item. I'm going to go into the history of the Model 8, but I'm not going to go too in-depth on this whole sort of field of research or collecting or whatever, and into the experimental helmets, as I should plan on making a full-length video about this sometime in the future, as the US experimental helmets is a fascinating topic. So that, I shouldn't need this anymore, so I'm going to pack it up before I inadvertently injure myself, as has happened a couple times in some unboxings. And we've got quite a lot of packing peanuts in here. That's quite a lot. I'm actually going to have to stand up for this, so I am not visible on screen anymore, but who cares? I mean, y'all probably care and I care, but who cares? And we're losing some. Oh well. I don't think there's any way to do this without losing some. I'm gonna have to clean this up later, so that's fun. But we've got this. I'm gonna set it on the stool real quick so I can then move everything else. And I just realized the audio in this section is probably horrible, so I do apologize for that. But let me just set that there and toss away some peanuts. So, let's, I still need the knife, oh come on. I tell you, these unboxing videos, they can get out of control really fast. But hey, that's the fun of them, isn't it? The fact that it's unscripted. It's just me having a chance to ramble on about something I'm passionate about and have a bit of fun. And I might not need... I'm gonna need the knife. There we go. And let's see, this is actually quite nicely packaged. Ooh, there's another peanut in there. Quite nicely packaged. And let's get you. There we go. And we have one last bit of tape, it looks like. And now is the moment of truth. What is the condition on this? Alright, wrapped up in one last bit of cushioning. I'm just ripping this tape off. I've already set the knife aside. Alright. Oh ho ho, it's not the best angle. That's going away too. But, oh, this thing is beautiful. And this is exactly the shade that I've seen in others. It was, I'll edit on screen, you know, a screenshot we took of the actual listing. It was very green looking. Here, well, a very light green. This is that darker shade that I've seen with all others. So it was just weird lighting on that. But dang, this thing is beautiful. So let's toss this aside. Now, as I'm sure y'all can see, there is... Actually, let me put the visor down. There is a spot of paint missing here, I'm sure y'all can see. And there should be one somewhere else, but I'm actually not seeing it. I can't remember where it was. But there are a few patches of paint missing on this, which is to be expected with these. And there is the standard... There is the standard sort of lines along the top here where the visor moves, but this is just remarkable condition. So let's take a look at the inside before taking a look at everything else. So we have the chin strap, which has gotten hooked up with it, and this thing is in beautiful condition. The chin strap is actually the worst thing on this. Actually, let me angle this so y'all can see. I will probably put in some B-roll footage as well, just because I realize this is not the best. I also might zoom in, I don't know. But this is, you can see this is definitely aged a lot more than everything else. But it's not poorly aged, it's just aged. The inside is definitely a little rougher than was shown on the photographs, but that could just be admittedly poor lighting in here. The leather is quite nice, a bit dry, which is a shame, but not bad. And we do have the, this I will have to put some B-roll footage in for, because I do not think I can properly show it off, but we do have the felt pads in here as well. It looks like they are missing a little bit of what would be there. Maybe not. There is meant to be basically a string attached to them so you can tie them up. That does appear to be missing, but they are present, which is quite nice. And this whole thing is just remarkable condition. The liner is a quite interesting one. It's very clearly based on the German liner, but it is a different one as well. I will, with everything else, I will edit a comparison on screen. Now to take a look at the visor, this thing is perhaps the most unique feature of this helmet. It has two quite long ocular slits, as Bashford Dean put it in his book, and is a pretty unique way of holding it together. So down here, it's really just held together by weight, by gravity. And as I say that, or this thing is actually quite a heavy helmet. It's, actually, let me open up the book. I'm going to be referencing this in a little bit anyway, so let me just open this up and get the exact measurement, because I will get it wrong just by saying it. And I will also quickly apologize for the rambling nature of this. I did look over things, but of course I'm not the best at remembering things. This was a bit of a rush, as I did not expect this to arrive quite so soon. Let's see, this weighs 51.5 ounces, which I am not good with measurement stuff, so I will edit on screen what that is in pounds, but I can only assume that is a bit of a heavier weight. And yeah, this is quite a heavy helmet. In the box, the weight was very evenly distributed and much more spread out, so it didn't feel quite as heavy as it does now. But the visor, when like this, is held down by the weight, but when up here you can see these two little bumps along here, it seems that those are what hold it up in the elevated position, which is quite cool. Now, I did talk about how I was going to see, well, I did not in the video. I talked about this with someone. I was going to see how well the vision from this is. So I'm going to do something that I would not necessarily recommend to all of y'all, and I'm going to put this on. Actually, surprisingly comfortable. Good weight distribution. And with it down, certainly not the best vision, but you can see this is, I don't know how well I sound with this. I'll probably sound like a fool, but this is definitely more limiting than I would hope it would be for a functional helmet. But it is still visible. It's something where, if that was going to save my life, I'd rather have it and have my vision a bit impaired than not have it and be able to see perfectly. Let me put it that way. If it was closer to the eyes, it would probably be very easy to see with it. Now, as I finish this up, I should give a quick little bit of history on this thing. This is, after all, a somewhat of a history channel. I do focus primarily on equipment with this, at least that's the plan. But this is a history channel, so let me give the history of this. So, here's the basic rundown leading up to it. America needed its own helmet. They were using this right here, which is the M1917, which is just a clone of this right here, which is the British Mark I. But they needed their own helmet, so they started doing all these experimental designs, with the main designer being Bashford Dean of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The man who wrote this fantastic book. If y'all are interested in this subject, this does not just go into the experimental helmets, but it goes into all the helmets used in the war, aside from maybe one or two, along with body armor and shields and all this different stuff. It's fascinating, and it's perhaps a bit surface level at times, but it's a very good source on this topic if y'all are interested in learning a bit more on it. So I'd recommend getting a copy of this if you wish to. It's not too hard to find modern reprints of it. But he was tasked with designing most of these things. There were some guys who made a few different ones, but he was the lead on this whole project. Anyways, there were a lot of different designs that were around with different features and different purposes. But the most interesting ones for me were the ones with visors, as those were perhaps the most specialized, whereas you had, say, the Model 5, which was closer to the German Stahlhelm. It was just a good standard helmet, and honestly, as much as I love the Model 8, the Model 5 was probably the best helmet they came up with in those trials. But anyways, this one followed the Model 7, which was intended for Sentinels. Now, I'm not sure the intent on this one. Dean himself, unless I have missed something, which I do not believe I have, did not specify as a use for this, though there is this right here. I don't know the source for this, I just found it on Pinterest, but it does say it was intended for snipers and machine gunners. This would actually be pretty good for machine gunners. Having put it on and seen the visibility, snipers, not so much. It definitely does limit vision to basically just a single slit, but you can see a good deal within that, but I would certainly not be able to get a scope close enough to my eye to be comfortable with my ability to accurately hit a target. I mean, I want to be comfortable with my ability to hit a target, even if I did get it up to my eye, but that is neither here nor there. But anyways, this helmet, of course, the most significant feature is the visor, but it was also intended to follow in the footsteps of the Model 5 with greater protection along the side and back of the head, something you can, of course, see. It's not just flat like this is, it does extend downwards. Now, the liner, as I said, was based on the German liner. It was a design that they'd used for a few different helmets, and it's a quite nice design. 3 pads, and then it has felt pads underneath those, which can be used to adjust the way the liner sits to adjust for different head sizes, which is quite a nice design. The Germans, I do believe, had something similar, but it was larger pads that, to my understanding, did not have quite as much adjustment with them. However, I have not fully researched that. I've really only looked into the Model 8 for this, so if anyone knows I am wrong on that, please correct me down in the comments. I do not wish to be spreading any incorrect information with this. But anyways, now this helmet did prove fairly successful in ballistics tests. It was not perfect, but it was definitely a good one, especially with the visor being the best when compared to other visors of the time, both in the American helmets and other helmets, such as the Denund or Polek that the French had. The final bit of history I wish to talk about with this is really just the reason it was rejected, and the answer is, I don't know, but there is some speculation. Dean himself makes no explicit mention of why it was rejected, aside from mentioning that it was a heavier helmet, and that it was not adequately tested by the American headquarters in France. Now, I have had 2 friends who have their own theories. One is that it was rejected due to issues that would arise when using this helmet with a gas mask, and the other is that the Americans just didn't want to make their own helmet. They just wanted to keep using this because it's easy. This was not, that theory was not in relation to the Model 8 explicitly, just in the experimental helmets in general. Now, those are all quite interesting, but I do think the weight is probably the most likely of them, as it is quite a heavy helmet. It's much better balanced than a lot of the other visor helmets, and much lighter than most of the other visor helmets, but it is quite heavy. There is also a theory I have that because this would be a more specialized helmet, it was rejected as the Americans wished to have a more standard infantry helmet, such as the British helmet or the M1917 that they were using. But the experimental helmets are just such a fascinating part of the history of the development of all this stuff, and so to have not just any one of them, but to have my holy grail with them in my collection is just, it's just a joy. And I know this video was a little rough. I definitely could have, I suppose, practiced a little more and researched a little more and made sure I had everything in my head a bit better. But I hope that just my joy with all of this came across, and I will have, like I said, a video out sometime about this whole topic, talking not just about the Model 8, not just about the Model 5, but about all the different American experimental helmets, because things honestly get a lot more fascinating than you get with the Model 8. Like, I'm going off a tangent, so I apologize for that, but you talk about the experimental aviation helmets, or the experimental tank helmets, those things are very much ahead of their time. Those were some fascinating designs that really, I do believe, went on to inspire the later ones. I don't have any proof for that at the moment, but I would not be surprised about it, I'll put it that way. But I've unboxed the thing, I've rambled on, I really don't have anything more to say, so that is going to do it. Thank you all for watching. There will be a video sometime in the next few days, hopefully, of just all the memes I made about this and just having a bit of fun with that. And there will be a video about this full topic in the future as well, along with other videos. I do have stuff in the works. It's just taking a long time because motivation is hard to come by at times. But I have really said everything I need to say, and probably some stuff I didn't need to say as well. That is going to do it. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more rambling history content, and sometimes better, more scripted history content. And in the comments, you can say whatever. I'm using the outro for my music channel, and it doesn't really work here. But in the description, there are links to things. Discord, where I do history stuff in there. It's a very history-centric server, and it's pretty cool. Instagram, where I post history content as well. I will have the Model 8 up on there soon, along with the body armor I mentioned. Twitter, Linktree with all my other stuff as well. And probably one or two other things that I'm just not thinking of. But this was just a blast to open up and a blast to receive. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing ya.